I'm admitting defeat. For now. The sourdough gods have won, and I'm tired of baking terrible sourdough loaves when I have a go-to yeasted bread recipe that tastes better than most store-bought sourdough loaves. Don't get me wrong, it pales in comparison to our local bakery sourdoughs, but it gets the job done consistently, and who am I to have an ego that feels I need to excel at everything? So, I say farewell to the mound of sourdough starter that's been dwelling in my fridge, and hello to a commemorative batch of starter crackers, baked in defeat. Now, for all of you who aren't in a bout of histrionics, here's your recipe for lazy sourdough starter crackers. When I make this, typically it's whenever whatever jar I've been keeping the discard in has gotten full, which isn't always the same measurement. But I use the same formulation, so just adjust accordingly for your own needs. We'll start by mixing about a cup of starter discard with 4 tablespoons of olive oil. Mixing and mixing until fully homogeneous. Then we'll add in about a cup of flour, a scant half teaspoon salt, and a scant half teaspoon baking soda. Yeah, this is probably going to be confusing for the old school folks who complained about me using weight measurements, seeing me randomly switch over to volumetric measurements here. But you know what? Who cares? I don't. Anyway, you may need to give it a little knead for it all to come together like I did here. Once fully combined, cover it up with a damp towel and let rest 3 hours at room temp. You could also let this go about as long as 6. In either case, you can also place it in the fridge if you need to stop the fermentation process before baking. However, once your fermentation has completed, go ahead and preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or about 175 degrees Celsius. Then divide your dough into quarters, potentially more or less if you have a larger or smaller batch. On a lightly floured surface, roll each quarter out to roughly the shape of a half sheet tray and about 1/8 of an inch thick. Then collect your sheet like so and place onto a tray. I've only got 2 half sheet trays, so I'll be doing mine in 2 batches. Once both trays have their dough, drizzle it with a little olive oil and then top with salt and whatever other toppings you like. Someone here, who isn't me, really loves nutritional yeast, and so I'll be doing 2 sheet trays with that as well as a topping. At this point, you can choose whether or not to be lazy by choosing to cut the dough into rectangles or chop it into shards later. I generally choose laziness, though perhaps this isn't even a good word for it since it's about the same amount of effort. But I think the shards are kind of fun, and who really cares? Pop your trays into the oven and bake for a total of 12 minutes, rotating the trays once halfway through or until slightly browned and crisp. Once baked, you'll want to fully cool these on a wire rack, then shard off pieces with a knife if you were lazy, or go right into loading up a jar or Tupperware for storage. I've found they last at least 2 to 3 weeks before going bad in our kitchen. However, usually they're eaten long before then. And that's really it. Eat them and do whatever. And fuck you, sourdough, for always failing me. And fuck me for always failing you.